Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I am riding this. This is the Suzuki Access 125, which is the same as before, but some minor changes have happened. Now it gets an LED light, yes, an all LED light, which is on the top variants. Lights look really very nice. Actually, light looks really very nice. You can see it's nice and bright. However, the indicators are still halogen and the scooter looks more or less the same as before. Obviously, they've given it some sort of a retro treatment. So you get this chrome surround, you get chrome outside rear view mirrors. Mirrors are always outside vessel. When will you understand? I'm so sorry. I'm so used to reviewing cars now of late. Any which ways, that chrome is there on the exhaust shield too. And at the front, we've got a 12-inch tire. Meanwhile, at the rear, we've obviously got a 10-inch. There's a disc which is obviously not standard across the range. And as you can see, this mudguard kind of looks a little ugly, if I may. See your tires, you can feel the scooter vibrate a bit. Yeah, it is vibrating. You can actually see that. Some amount of vibrations are there in spite of FI coming to the scooter. Now, this is the special edition. It says special edition for those who love to ride. Well, that's kind of interesting. Access 125 written here. 10-inch tire at the rear. That's the engine, of course. And these are the pegs for the pillion, of course. Footboard area is decent size. There is a hook right there, and there is a 12-volt charging socket. Right? No, that's a USB charging socket which is actually lit. And there is storage space here as well. It's actually deep enough as well. Meanwhile, the seat is now slightly longer because they made changes to put the fuel filler cap outside. Yeah, external fuel filler cap. However, this does not open from there. The seat does open from there. This does not. You have to actually put the key to open this. The tank is also reduced from 5.2 liters to 5 liters. Brake light is not LED, neither are the indicators at the rear, and you can see the vibes of the scooter. Mudguard is a little bit big, grab rail is nice, the seat actually looks quite nice, it's big enough too. And as a 125cc scooter, this is more towards practicality than sportiness. Even in terms of appearance, you obviously get a regular stand as well as a side stand on this scooter. Okay, let's come to this. Firstly, this is a button for the indicators, of course. This is for the horn. This is for the low beam, high beam. Obviously, it gets automatic headlight on always. We'll do one thing, we'll turn off the scooter. So we've turned it off. Now, this is the engine starter button. So what we'll do, we'll actually turn on the scooter. When you turn on the scooter, it does a full swipe up and shows you this blue and green color as well, which is basically telling you whether you're riding economically or you're riding sporty way. Anyways, this is telling you bright, which is for the cluster brightness. Meanwhile, let's turn on the scooter, which means you have to press the brake, and there it rose to life. Yeah. Now, there are a lot of stuff here in the multi-information display. If I browse through this, you can see this is the odometer, fuel meters below, everything is digital other than the speedometer, of course. Twin trip meters as well, and it's also telling you the clock. Meanwhile, there's a battery volt indicator here as well. So that's kind of cool. Let's turn off the scooter. Okay, there's no engine kill switch. There we have opened the seat, and that's kind of easy to open. See the seat. You see the under seat storage is decent size, and it has these, compartments if you want to put stuff like for the paper, for the spanner, and the likes. Any which ways, what we really want to know is how is it to ride. So let's get going right away. But there's a Kia Sonet. Yeah, we're also reviewing that. We're also driving the Ultros, the Aura, and a lot of stuff. But honestly, this vlog is all about the Access.
Here we go straight away. Let me tell you. Okay, it's smooth. It actually smoothens out because initially, the vibes can be felt, and over bad roads, ride is quite comfortable. So yes, this is a very comfortable scooter. Alright, the road is kind of bad. Not kind of, it's very bad indeed. And straight away onto the gas, I realized that there is good amount of punch in the mid-range, but that initial punch is somehow missing from the scooter. Okay, the Access never had a great initial punch, and there's no difference with the scooter as well. BS6 has made stuff even more refined. It's super smooth, super refined, but the mid-range is really very nice and strong, and the top end is even better. It pulls nicely in the top end, and this is a 125cc scooter, which actually produces lesser power and torque than before because power has come down by around 0.3, 0.4 horsepower. No, actually, yeah, 0.3 somewhere around that, because earlier it used to produce 8.98 PS of power, almost 9 PS. Now it produces 8.7 PS. So yes, power is down. Torque is down as well by 0.2 Newton meters. Earlier it used to produce a torque output of, what was the torque output? We have to wait for the signal to turn green, then we'll get going. So earlier the torque output was 10.2 Newton meters. Now the torque output happens to be 10 Newton meters. So torque output is also reduced, and all this is because of BS6 compliance. Although you don't feel much of a difference as such, because overall performance is still more or less very good indeed. The only thing is it lacks the punch in the low end. It really feels nice and juicy in the mid range, and obviously shines on the top end as well. Now, as soon as I leave the gas, this thing turns green. yeah, it's telling you if you're riding efficiently or not. And you get on the gas, it turns blue. So basically it's so much like the Honda City. Tire grip is decent, I would say. It's adequate grip from the tires, largely so because I expected more grip. However, the tires don't grip really as much, and the tires are also a bit on the narrower side. Suzuki shifted completely to CA tires, which is kind of a bummer because they don't offer the most amount of grip. High speed stability is really very nice. It tracks dead straight and really gives you good confidence as well. However, it doesn't really enjoy change of directions as such, because when you change direction now it doesn't maintain its line very well. It's a agile scooter as such. It's light actually. It's 103 kgs or so. Weight is also increased by 2 kgs. It's the lightest 125cc scooter in the market right now. So yeah, it's very easy to ride. Not the most maneuverable though, because you know, doing change of direction is where it doesn't feel comfortable. The handling is actually nice. It maintains its line beautifully well, as long as again you don't do change of direction. And braking performance is good, not great. I would say braking performance is good. Disc obviously works very well on this scooter, and a disc should always be offered on every scooter as well, at least a front disc. Okay, rear disc will be overkill for a 125cc scooter, but performance is nice. Actually, the NTORQ 125 is much more grunty off the line. Horn is actually decent. Of course, scooters have pretty bad horn, and they're taking a turn, no problem at all. Only thing is the mirrors are absolute rubbish on this scooter. Round mirrors, why? Just give it rectangular mirrors now, so you get a better view of what's around, because all I see is my riding jacket, which is not a bad thing considering it's your own riding brand. Left hand on the brake, right hand on the throttle, and off we go. Clearly you can see that low end grunt could have been better. Mid range is really very nice, and again top end is also very nice. So this Japanese scooter is more top end centric, which is kind of funny because it's more oriented towards practicality. Okay, it does a top speed of around 95 kilometers per hour, and the suspension is nice, supple and soft as well, which gives it a good ride quality too. So yeah, I think we are at top pack. It will not go beyond 95 kilometers per hour. Although if I was lighter, or if I was down a slope or a cliff, then definitely it could have gone even faster, but then Newton would be helping our cause. So the Access is actually available in 5 braking variants. Yeah, that's right, 5 variants. Okay, the base one does not get alloy wheels, neither does it get a disc. It gets a front drum. Okay, and then we get the one with an alloy, but again a drum brake. And then above that we start to get a disc as well as an alloy, and this is a special edition which gets the LED headlight as well, and obviously the maroon, red, brown, whatever colored seat too. Obviously it looks striking, but the white makes it kind of look very boring as well. Pricing is on the high side. Obviously all scooters are now much more expensive than before, so the price of the scooter which I'm riding right now is around 92,000 on road Mumbai, which is expensive if you see it in isolation, but still quite value for money for what it offers, considering other scooters in the market also very expensive. Actually the range starts at around rupees 87,000 on road Mumbai. Yeah, so we have got 5 variants. 87 to 92,000 is the price range of the Suzuki Access 125. Maneuverability could have been a little bit better. Somehow it doesn't inspire that confidence only, at least not in terms of low speed maneuverability. Yeah, it could have been a little bit more maneuverable. It doesn't like you flicking the scooter right, left and center. That's the only issue. Obviously it's got combined braking system. Well, that is something which is already mandatory on all scooters in the Indian market. So yes, that also inspires confidence, but that's something you'll be used to with every other scooter in the market as well. So as I see it, the Suzuki Access 125 is a very likable scooter, but more geared towards practicality. It's not really a fun scooter. It's not a scooter. There is a Kia Sonet, you can see that. It's not really a scooter you would enjoy to go through around the corner. Say NTORQ 125 would definitely fare better there, but if you're looking for practicality, ease of riding, and a nice refined Japanese motor which vibrates at low end of the rev range, which is kind of ironic, well, the Suzuki Access 125 is a great bet as well. So if you guys like this vlog, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye, take care.
So Dhanil is demonstrating something new. He's saying this gets a one-touch starter. You just press it like this and there it starts as well. Dhanil, you moron, why are you telling it now? After the whole vlog is over, and look at me how I have to talk to the camera by eating the helmet up. वैसे तुम दिख ही नहीं रहे थे. I don't think that came.